Hello, I'm David Bowe, and this is my review of the First Alert model P1210. These things, it's a 10-year sealed battery-operated photoelectric smoke alarm with a silence feature. This is the alarm that I had difficulty with. I'm doing this recording on February 7th, 2019. If you look at this, I purchased it, I installed it, the 10-year model, on November 1st, 2015, and I used the little sticker that they give. I remember doing this a few years ago now. So overnight then, Wednesday night into Thursday morning on February 7th, 2019, I was awakened at about between 1:30, 2 in the morning, somewhere around in there, by a beep. And at first I thought, what is this? And then I noticed it again and again. And I went around and checked, and I realized that it was this one because I was standing underneath it when it beeped in my dining room. And I have guests in the house, and so I pulled it off of the wall, and I tried to take it apart, tried to find some way to stop the beeping. So it's got this back part on it that is the mounting thing. I hadn't actually mounted it to the wall. I didn't mount, I just hung it on the wall. I had a nail up there, I think, and it was handy. I just had it hung on the wall to find stable place. So I pulled the whole thing off because this mounting thing works just fine for that. But anyway, then with anything, I tried to counterclockwise unscrew it, and it would not unscrew. It was completely stuck. And I tried and tried and tried, and then and it's at this point it's still beeping every minute. And I've got guests, and so I wanted to do whatever I could to silence it. So I stuck it under a couple pillows. You could still hear it under the pillows because it's a loud beep, which I suppose is a good thing. Then I got out my computer and looked up the manual, and here you can see the instructions, which has a lot of information before you install it. It describes what you should do and the tools you'll need, and then it talks about this optional locking feature, which I don't think I did that. And it also, it explains how to, it shows you the parts of the alarm, and it says that you need to get a screwdriver. Now, under the optional locking feature, it describes this business about using a needle nose pliers, standard flat blade screwdriver. So I've got the needle nose pliers here. I've got the flat blade screwdriver, and so I get this stuff out, and now the thing about this unit is that every piece of it is completely just white. So I'm trying to figure out where is this. It says you're supposed to press on a tab and move it counterclockwise at the same time. So you're supposed to use the screwdriver to press on the tab. And then, so I got one hand, I'm holding it in one hand, and I'm using the screwdriver to press on it, and then I'm supposed to unscrew it counterclockwise. This thing is completely tight. And it will not separate. I can't figure out from all of these white pieces. I cannot see any place on here where this thing somehow comes apart. So, and I never could. Now, at some point, it says in the instructions, it says that you can silence it, and I realized this, and I silenced it, and it did stop beeping. But then it started beeping again after a little while. Woke me up again, even though it was underneath some pillows and stuff. So I put it underneath more pillows and waited for the light of day the next day to look at this a little more closely. And again, under the light of day, I was again completely unable to take this backing off. So at that point, then I started tearing at it with pliers. Finally, after completely pulling it apart with pliers, I was able to loosen it so that this thing would come off. So finally it came off. And now here's the part that's absurd and ridiculous. Here's where the directions are. Now, I certainly could have used these directions in the heat of the moment, in the middle of the night, but I couldn't see them because this thing was on there, and there is no clear, every single part is just bright white, and when it's latched on there, it simply would not come apart. The only way I could get it apart was to rip it apart with pliers. I tried it with a screwdriver. There was just nothing I could do. And, you know, it's beeping. It's the middle of the night. There's no fire. There's no danger. And here's the other thing. This thing, it's supposed to last 10 years. This was manufactured August 13 of 2015. So I'm making this recording on February 7th of 2019, 3.5 years into it. Now this is installed in a living room in an area that is remarkably clean. There's no dust, and it had never ever gone off because of there's a kitchen nearby, but you know, I don't really do much cooking. So, you know, I don't understand. It just doesn't make sense. It wakes you up in the middle of the night with a bad battery. Hugely frustrating. I'm going to try and take it back to Costco, where I bought it in 2015. I injured myself trying to get the dang thing apart. Huge frustration. That's my review of the First Alert model P1210.